Hello, all.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello.
Well, probably give it a few minutes for people to trickle in.
Hello, hello.
Hey, how are you?
Oh my God, running like a chicken with my head cut off. There's RSA, so
Oh, that's where you are.
yeah. Yesterday was pretty pretty busy. I mean, the hallway track alone. Like I saw so many people that I didn't that I haven't seen in years. Because I don't like going to conferences. I don't, you know what I mean? Like I really am not a conference person.
Okay.
So you know, RSA got too way too commercialized. So I kind of stayed away from it for a little bit.
Oh,
But
yeah.
but I ended up going this time just because I wanted to, and I ended up missing the social event I wanted to go to. I ended up having to leave before the social event, which when I plan on going to the SBOM talk. Adrian is there, and then of course Ava, and then Alan Freeman. They're all there at the SBOM talk. And I plan on going there, but I ended up having to leave. You know, it's a bit of an emergency, so I was like, oh crap, I had to go.
Oh, goodness.
But I was there during the day, you know, doing the hallway track and at the expo, and saw a lot of people I haven't seen in years. So
That's good.
you know, well, yeah, it's good and bad. While I enjoy catching up, you know, it gets, man, the mental strain on that alone. Like you know, where you been, what have you been doing, you know, in the expo, so people are looking for swag. I don't want any swag.
You don't want any swag. Yeah, you guys explained in great detail how, is it good or bad the swag is? All right, we should probably get started. Oh, let me drop the agenda link.
Oh,
Small.
there you go. Oh man.
All right. Does anyone? I don't think there's anyone new for now. Anyone who are willing to kind of help with scribing for the meeting?
I'll do my best, but I might have to drop out.
Oh, okay. It might end up being we'll see how we get through the agenda items. It might end up being shorter than usual. Yeah, drop any items you have in the opens or some below. But I kind of wanted to kick things off with we did do the office hours last Thursday, and wanted to see if there were a recap for those who were not there, and also any kind of like thoughts of what went well, or what did we learn, anything like that. Yes, Yesenia, I guess you kind of like kick things off. So any thoughts on your end?
Yeah, so what went well? It lasted the whole hour. I think from the participants, they got some value out of the conversation. I think we also have some good marketing pieces there. If we can reshare the webinar. I think between Sal, myself, Jay, and yourself, Christina, we shared good intel for the community on like how to get started in cybersecurity. Improvements, I think we could probably have I know it's more of an office hour, but to keep conversations going, some kind of agenda or fallback, or fallback topics. And then the other thing that was mentioned quite frequently was a schedule and letting folks know like what topics and things we're gonna talk about. And I think that will help with the improvements.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I did feel like for the folks who were there, the conversation did flow pretty freely, but having like a set agenda and upcoming topics. And I don't know if it's too early to start thinking about like what kind of would be the next, since we want to do this monthly, what would be like the next topic that we would want to tackle. I know that probably that will happen after Open Source Summit in North America in Vancouver. So either something in that area or I'm not sure. I don't know if there was any like follow-up things that came out of office hours that could potentially go into the next monthly session, or do we go and find people, start asking questions? That's probably gonna be our thinking of.
Yeah, I don't think we have to put that much pressure on ourselves for this, right? I think we can have, hell, there's 12 months in a year. I'm saying we can rotate 6 topics for every office hours, because I think there are a strong 6 that are relevant to DE&I and relevant to how underrepresented communities can begin a career in cybersecurity or can begin some type of educational. And then there's so many different aspects, right? There's so many different branches, and you know, we don't have to keep it specific towards it's got to be cyber here. It could be forensic accounting. Like I don't know. There's many different ways that we can skin peel the potato. But I think if we have a strong 6 that we talk about and we rotate those, you know what I mean? That way we always have a discussion that somebody who joins new can jump in on and get something out of it. And of course, if they're jumping in, let's say on our fourth topic, well, the topic will renew again, and in 3 topics, it'll renew. The series will renew. So they'll if they keep coming, they're bound to get one of those. And then every year we can change those 6, right? So I mean, I'm just saying that we don't have to put that much pressure on ourselves. I think and I like your idea. I like the idea. I think we just don't have to put that much pressure on ourselves to come up with something new every single time. We start with a strong 6 and then rotate.
We might want to think about, in addition to that stable of 6 talks, are there any interesting speakers or kind of amazing people in the industry to kind of talk to the new folks joining? I think that would also be an interesting thing to do. But again, I like the no pressure.
Yeah, I agree. And what could happen is, even if we set, I'm hoping that we would meet some so-called interesting folks that we can match up with during the Open Source Summit in North America and start sort of seeding that. So maybe one of the things that we do in North America Summit is start thinking about like what are the no pressure topics that people would like to hear about? What are kind of like the typical questions that we got? And I think another sort of like topic that might be interesting, Sal's not here, but during the office hours, she said that previous night she had heard from somebody from SPTX, kind of wanted to know some information. So she invited them to come to the office hours. So there might be like an opportunity to get folks also within OpenSSF who want to learn more about what this subcommittee is doing to just come to the office hours. And that gives them an opportunity to learn more about what we're doing, but also an opportunity for others to know what these other working groups or initiatives within the OpenSSF are working on. So it could go both ways.
I have a question for the office hours. Is there a set agenda? I know you said this time some people showed up asking about how to get into cyber. Is that the focus with it? Or is it just ask based on what this committee is doing or on this topic?
I think our last one kind of went off of it was more of like a Q&A, like, hey, what questions do you have for us? It started off with talking about the Alpha Omega mentorship, but it quickly kind of like diverged into like, how do I get started into cyber? Sal had mentioned like site reliability engineer, and we kind of tailored into that as well. Onto Jay's point, doesn't have to be cyber. I mean, we're working on software, so engineering and helping folks into the engineer as well is beneficial to cyber if they have some cyber consciousness. But it kind of became like a ask us anything.
Yeah. Yeah, to that point, no set agenda for now, but that was one of the things we were discussing. Do we need one? And I guess the consensus is we kind of make it more no pressure, essentially have, I think folks come to speak, and also may have like a rotating 6 or so topics that we might cycle through. Anything else on office hours? Any other thoughts?
Could we use this as an activity to try and recruit and get more members on the team and
Oh, definitely.
advertise some of the stuff that we have?
It's an opportunity to advertise every single time, get more people. So like the call to action, we did have like a call to action at the end of the office hours to have people actually just come and learn more about what was going on in the OpenSSF, and we can continue doing that. So yes, agree.
Yeah, I think that should be something. I don't know if we just get a sheet of kind of what we're working on, what we need, so that's available too.
That's true, because then you're focused on like, come help us out with this, or more than just like, come learn more like, did you help us with this? That might actually get some folks jumping.
It's like real confession. I think I've almost got 2 of my friends to come over and help after they finish their projects in May. I don't know if they'll be able to make the meeting, but they'll definitely be able to take some stuff and help.
Oh, excellent.
That's interesting, because that's something that's come up within the Alpha Omega group, is like, how do we list what we need help with? But then it was like, how do we get OpenSSF to have like, here's the top things we need broken down by projects, just to kind of point folks to, do we have that, Crow?
Well, let me tell you, part of each group's GitHub repository is you are supposed to list areas that you would like additional how to contribute, and areas you're actively soliciting additional content on. So, if we want today, this group is welcome to leverage the existing EDU.SIG repo. But if we want, I can easily get them to spin a repo dedicated just to us. So we could either have that kind of, we're looking for these types of contributions in our own, or as part of the EDU.SIG, however we're comfortable with. But we could make if we just want to have a page on the EDU.SIG today, I can make that happen in like 5 minutes.
You got that admin
if we want our own repo, it takes a little
longer. Okay, because you could always have like a label with issues or label, whatever it is. And,
exactly.
With the DEI label on that, help wanted.
Yeah, we have help wanted and good first issues that if folks in other SIGs add it, we can probably just filter and have one page is like, hey, you guys want to help? Come to this like GitHub dashboard thingamajig.
Okay. What do folks think? I'm not sold which way or the other. Have its own repo, or have like this be a part of the education as a page under there? Or what do folks think?
If we want to do issue tagging, again, we could do that immediately. And then we could have, in addition to like the help wanted and good first issue, we could have, DEI committee as a tag. It's just, the sky's kind of the limit how we want to organize ourselves. But I would definitely find somewhere to put, this is things this group is looking for contributions and collaboration on. And then we can, but that should be the model across the foundation. Yeah, see, everybody should be doing that. I don't know that they are.
Okay.
Right.
Through the TAC, we can start to more actively encourage that to get the other projects and SIGs and working groups doing that so that we maybe could get a consolidated list.
Okay.
Yeah, my thing is just one list, not like, here's a bunch of links to click through and then figure out what you need to do. Because I think one page would be with all the working groups.
Oh, I see.
Like I'm almost saying, you know, I know it might take a little longer, but spinning up its own repo might be the I'm thinking long run, right? I think it might take longer, but I think if we get our wish granted, if we get our long-term wish granted, that's a shorter path. All we got to do is just change the repo name at that point, right? I mean, I think oh, well, if that's the case, then let freedom ring. If we can do both.
Let's do both.
It's open source. If you can dream it, you can make it happen.
Yeah, let's go with both. Yeah.
Let's do both.
Yeah, because I'm assuming you can move issues even if we had to from, I don't know, from like one repo to another.
I don't know about moving, but we could duplicate and drop pointers. We could figure that out.
Okay. Yeah, because Yesenia, even if you wanted to, like, because you were talking about like one list for everything OpenSSF needs help with. That's an interesting concept. But if we want to do direct people to like one page where we're everything you wanted to know, whether it's like a list of issues with a particular tag, if it's specific to the subcommittee, we can do that too. Or if it's like a brand new repo and we send them to all the issues. But yeah, why don't we do both? What's going to stop us from creating the repo? You said it would take a little longer, Crow.
I think David Wheeler, one of the admins on OpenSSF, has to create it.
Yeah, it's normally Khalil's normally the one that hooks us up. You got a day or two kind of latency there.
Okay.
We just send a mail over to operations, but there's nothing to say we can't, like, we could immediately add tags to the existing repos like right now if we wanted to.
Okay.
It's just however the group wants to organize themselves. We'll get support for it.
Sounds good. All right, so let's go ahead and try to get that repo then set up and then also add the issues, issue tags. And I know one of the things like, Nicole, you had mentioned that you have folks that are willing to kind of help. Was there any particular item of work that you had in mind for them to help out with that we could potentially turn into an issue, a GitHub issue?
Helping them help us finish banging out that list. That's what I told them.
Perfect. That's what I was hoping you'd say.
I mean, I know they wanted to be involved in some more stuff. Like one of my friends, he works at NIST.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants to be able to better integrate some things he's doing at NIST and also kind of looking at what some of their outreach projects, because he does work on one of their public facing projects, to how to kind of have a more inclusive space plus what they can leverage, right? So he's also trying to look and see what are some of the DEI stats that they collect in the organizations they work with. The other one's been working at a company for a long time. And so he's trying to figure out how to network better professionally with other cyber orgs. But their company likes to meet every hour on the hour for no reason. So it's like, say you might not be able to be at some of the meetings, we could definitely contribute in Slack and stuff.
Perfect. So do you want to take?
Yeah, so I don't really know exactly what all they're interested in. I just told them, yeah, I want to do that. Okay, well, then you need to take like 5 things on the sheet, then fill it out and go. Okay,
that's good. Do you want to take kind of the action item potentially to create a GitHub issue and tag it appropriately? And the issue would probably just relate to kind of filling out that spreadsheet.
Sure. The only other thing is, I know we are tagged up to Alpha Omega just to do a little cross-reference with some of their needs. So we could kind of show that together since we're already working.
Okay. So Crobe is asking what we want to call. I don't know what the convention is for the repos. I see something like WG dash or, yeah.
It's like, do we want to, is DE and I okay? Do we want to rename anything? Normally it's like work WG or SIG dash name. So we could do like SIG dash
DEI.
EDU, DE and I, or DE and I. Just kind of let me know what you'd like me to name it, and I'll get that sent over to ops.
Okay, because education is just called education, which is why I was thinking. So you can do you can either do education dash DEI if you want to be consistent with that being named, because it's not called SIG, but if you, but I'm okay with SIG dash education.
I'm flipping the mailing list. Do the preamble.
Okay.
I mean, if we can get away with just doing SIG dash DE and I, I'm good with that. I said, shortest path first. Like I'm wishful thinking here. Shortest path first.
All right.
I mean, I think to put education in front of it is a matter of semantics. I think we're branching off into these different areas that are all relevant, of course, and we're staying true to the education aspect of it because we are a subcommittee, right? So I'm with that. But like I said, if the larger objective gets met, shortest path.
Yeah, SIG dash DEI. I like that.
If we can get away with it.
Khalil loves me. I'm sure he would love to just copy and paste what I give him.
Yeah.
One day
And the
I'll
other
have
good thing is
admin powers.
yeah, and the other good
Work your
thing is
magic.
if you get this done now, in 2 weeks' time, it's another thing that we got to kind of show people and point people at during the summit.
So when we get our own repo, we'll want to make sure that we get the README filled out, and that gives the group a chance to add some of those mission and goals that are specific to this group, a little more exposition.
Yeah.
So just be prepared that once it's ready, we'll want to make sure that gets staged. Otherwise, you get like it's a kind of a dead end if somebody clicks on it. We want to make sure that there's something there to greet the surfer.
Okay. That's a good thing to think about because the next time it's mission. Oh, Jay, you wanted to say something?
I was gonna say kindly, ask him if he can add me as a maintainer then, because I'll be able to go in and just throw something down there on that README.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Same. If you can add me as well.
Otherwise, I had a hell of a time yesterday. I had to get walked through doing merging a pull request into a README file. I don't look. I had to get walked through. It was funny as hell. It took like 15, 20 minutes. Something got jacked up. I had to redo. It was something else. But if you just add me in there, I can go ahead and do it and not have to.
So I'll also have him make a group.
Okay.
And they don't do individual
Team
permissions.
Okay.
So we'll create the group with maintainer contributors, and I'll say add this group as project maintainers in GitHub.
Okay. All right, and then once that's done, Jay will kind of update the README, so something out there, and then we can start populating the issues, especially adding the one related to helping out with this DEI DEI list. Okay. Oh, the other thing that we wanted to discuss as the agenda item is last time we spoke about updating the education plan and adding or just refining it a little bit without making any major changes for some of the work that we were already doing. And I put up a PR. I'll put the link in chat as well. And the PR was the last conversations related to having something in place so that we can talk about the digital portfolio and anything related to mentorship. So I did that and just looking for some feedback on the content. And I can either share my screen. Let's see, what's the best way to see this? Okay. So this is the PR. I was wondering if there's just a way to look at the markdown file.
I believe
yeah.
if you go up, go to the
Yeah.
left,
To the
right
left.
where you were. Go, you see where it says viewed? There you go, click that one.
Yeah.
Go, no, not viewed.
Yeah.
So
Go back.
hover over viewed. No, go back
Alright,
to files
Files
changed,
changed. Overview.
unclick that. And then move your mouse to my left,
To your left.
where the little, not the other side, the other left, my other left. It's one of those two buttons, change your view.
Oh, so it
if
should
you-
be this one.
I think that's the one you have selected, so go to the other one.
No, not that one.
No, then go. No. Because you're showing the diff.
Yeah, I don't want to show the diff. I just want to show the file, what I actually made change. This one?
You might just need to go to the branch.
Yeah, I'll probably just go to the branch. Let's see what this, just go to the branch. And just
Yeah.
go to my branch.
You can click it, go scroll up right there where it says OSSF made from, and then that's your branch name. You can click that.
Okay.
There you go.
All right, then I'll just go to the actual plan itself, which is under this one. And we want to incentivize, and I'll just scroll to, I updated 3.13 section. All right. So this is what I added. So before it just used to have M2, what's under M2, it just used to have M1, develop 5 meaningful global partnerships. So that's what it had. And what I did was I just moved up an M1 for what's going on right now, kind of like identifying the global partners related to the work that's with the spreadsheet. And then I spoke about adding 5 to 10 global partners to work with in year 1. This I stayed the same, except I made them M2. And then I added M3, which is related to the digital portfolio, and also added something related to mentorship. So this is kind of like what I want feedback on is there, and then I added M2 and M3. So like, I mean, I just added some more milestones related to the following. So what I would love feedback from is is this enough, or should we add more? What are we doing specifically? And this isn't everything that we would be thinking of doing. This is just like related to the digital portfolio and mentorship.
I like the changes for M3 and list 2, maintaining organizations. I think between Alpha Omega and there's another one that does per semester. I'll have to figure it out. They just had a blog recently that I gotta read. We could probably hit that right away. The Linux kernel does mentorships.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see.
So they run mentorships, I think, every semester. If we can enlist them with Alpha Omega, you already hit those 2. So I don't know if you want to increase it to 3.
Okay.
Or if we want to just keep it simple, Jay, and just, hey, check that one off because we already got it once we get the Linux kernel partnering with us.
Okay. So the Linux kernel will be partnering with the Alpha Omega. Okay.
No, they run their own mentorship program.
They do. Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But between Alpha Omega and the Linux kernel, you hit your 2.
You hit 2. The other thing I was thinking about is also, maybe I kind of worded it wrong, but I like what you said there, but also the possibility of like, say, some of the OpenSSF member organizations, like in this case, like whether it's Microsoft or whatever, if they wanted to work hand in hand with some of the global partners that we've identified in our database, that was another thought. So that could be like a separate thing as well. I'm not sure we wanted to go there. That was the idea. But I like what you just said about like getting some mentorship programs. Mentoring programs are kind of like out the door. And these global partners, I was kind of like threading the needle between like the global partners that we've identified in the spreadsheet and working with them, developing the meaningful partnerships and kind of jumping off of that to create some of the programs that we want to work with. Like if we're going to do digital portfolios, where and when, how would that play out? What does that look like? Any other thoughts?
I have a couple.
Go ahead.
Based on your goal statement up there and doing education, could M4 be continuing education for professionals? And then you could leverage the open office hours we have, where you do college / do people, high school grads trying to get into security, and then talking about some current DEI topics that professionals deal with, right? To try and start part of that, because if I'm assuming we'd be looking towards mentoring, we would be looking towards trying to leverage people on this committee and other committees to try and serve these underrepresented committees. So you're going to need more professionals, right? And so I feel like you could start it low with something like that, and maybe even direct to some of the free online training on certain topics that are available, at least getting a list, because those seem to be like really popular on LinkedIn, where people are compiling lists of things that are free and available to people, right?
Okay.
I'm just thinking of some easy, low-hanging fruit that can be executed as far as for showing progress for the group. On a side note, for some of those college programs, I see you have ACES and SACNAS. I actually went through NAFIO, which is the Black program that hits people up with like government internships. I forgot, there's like 4 of them. There was an Asian one, a Latin one, an Indian one, and a Black one. Those were more familiar with us. So let me dig through my notes. I might have it, but I know NAFIO links directly to the Black students at predominantly white institutions and Black students at HBC use to get that representation for some type of internships. They are established for doing that.
Okay. Is
Who's
that
an
one
AFIO alumni?
cool? Is that one of those that might be listed in your spreadsheet as well? Or is this
Actually, they're not added on a spreadsheet, but they probably should be. But they're not limited. I would say STEM. They do get a lot of requests for STEM people and cater a lot to STEM, but they're not exclusively STEM. That's probably why I didn't think about it. But when I did it, like they had business majors, but it was still it was majority more math, science, engineering, right? I'm saying majority like 60-65%, but they weren't limited to that. They were more focused on getting people internships and things like that.
Okay.
And pulling from those schools. And let me add the link to that LinkedIn group that had all those educators in there from that White House thing. But that's why I say I would just clean up potentially with that. Do we want to say global partners or industry partners to work globally?
Which particular area, or in M1 or in general?
M1, yeah. Instead
Okay.
of saying potential global partners, industry
Mhm.
related partners globally,
Okay.
right? That gives you a little leadway.
Okay. Industry related partners globally. Okay, cool.
Just suggestion, you got some
Oh, no.
just give us a
Thank
little
you.
leeway in case we got some people who are US based, right? And
Right.
maybe want to be internationally, but aren't there yet, right?
Yeah. Any other thoughts? So you mentioned do an M4 related to continuing education for professionals, which will include the DEI office hours with topics that are relevant to them and help us leverage more people in this committee and others to serve. I have that. And then you said industry related partners globally. And Yesenia said, we probably need to rework the enlist to OSSF maintaining so it's clear what that means, because it could be two different things. Any other thoughts? All right. If you think of anything else, you can always drop it as a comment in the PR as well. But hopefully get that soon. And also, before I even got to this probe, I just found some like typos, etc. And so I did actually have a separate PR, which was not related to this, was just related to typos and fixes. So you might see another PR that you can check through as well. Okay. And then other than that, we've uploaded the DI list as you mentioned. Thank you so much, Nicole, it was really, really cool to get that up there. And folks can now go in and edit and add to your heart's content. And then the final topic I had is just that we've got 2 weeks, as I mentioned, the Open Source Summit North America. Who is everyone here going to be there, not going to be there? So, okay, Jay, I think Jay's going to be there. Nicole, any chance? You're going to be in Vancouver, Nicole?
Probably not right now. It's not really around the corner for me.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll be skipping this meeting next week, I believe, because of that. We'll have a chance to meet with whoever's going to be there in person. Wish you were there, Nicole. But
We should
I will try and make sure we're at least up to 40 on that list, though, so you can cut it, have everything there, right? That I will do.
Cool.
For the summit, we should try maybe to formally arrange some kind of meetup, even if we say, hey, let's all grab lunch on Wednesday or go out to a pub or whatever. So we should try to, and ideally, again, that'll help. We can keep saying that in all of our talks. Hey, FYI, we're meeting at Bob's Poutine House at 5 o'clock on a Wednesday. So that way we can kind of try to help encourage folks to join us. Yeah.
And I don't know if that's separate from what Sal had sort of like put her hand up to do, but she was trying to put together a meetup. She's not on the call. I was hoping to ping her on that if she was. But yes, so we can definitely offline through Slack channels, try to see if we can organize that. Any other topics?
Should we potentially add an agenda item for the education next week, just to touch on the repo, so it's ready for OpenSSF Day or North America?
Yes. So you're saying an agenda topic for the education SIG, for the full SIG? Yeah. Okay.
Just to make sure that anything that needs to get done on the repo could before we leave.
Okay. All right. Good call. All right. Okay. If there is nothing else, thank you all for a good call. And
I do have one question.
Oh, go ahead.
were we gonna try and do the meeting with the White House team, or are we not able to do that, or?
Oh, thank you for bringing that up. I did forward the email to the mailing list internally, but we didn't actually continue moving on that. I think the last action item was to try to come up with 3 sort of areas that we wanted to chat on. So let's see. Could you remind us again, Nicole?
Well, the whole task would be just whatever we figured out we wanted to discuss would just be schedule a meeting and talking with them, and then that would be it, right? So that's
Alright.
why I thought it would be something short that would look good, that provided impact into the cyber education strategy from the White House Education Committee, right? It's a
Yeah,
check, right? Getting
okay.
things done, and it just required that. But I know you need to reach out to them before the end of April.
With a couple of days, because you said if we sent an email within the next 2 weeks, we'd be okay to request a May.
Yeah,
office
that they,
hours.
you could be like, yeah, we're busy with conferences. Is it possible we could just schedule our meeting in May? I don't think they would fight you on that.
All right. And so we can contribute 3 topics or bullet points that we can share with them. So, let's see, what do you want to do for that? I'm looking for the thing that you had sent. So what has to? Okay. All right, so we had looked at that last year, so we could just send a message to STEM strategy at OSTP, but we need to know what we want to say, and I think that's the key thing. So it'd be like a short description, 2,000 character limit, approximately 300 words about your discussion topic. And it'll be, you just send them a request with your name, your organization. So what is it that we would want to chat? We could, if we can get some like quick thoughts, then we could, that might help us just put the email together. And I think he talked about, let's see, STEM professionals being trained, because he said that they did not have a lens into hearing from folks with a professional background. So he talked about foundation materials, digital portfolio, and community/networking. Is that my understanding? I'm just looking at
Well,
the
yeah,
past.
most of the people who were dominating their open call space, and they have a LinkedIn group with like all the people there, and I'll make sure I add that in Slack.
Okay.
But most of the organizations were like teachers or colleges, right? Talking about how they can improve the cyber education, and the topic covers, it's not just teaching children in school, it covers just educating America as a whole on cyber. So including professional organizations that are dealing with people who are grown and working in the field is very much part of that portfolio. And it was probably the least underrepresented group when they had these calls, right? It was mostly education people pretty much kind of plugging their programs and then talking about the problems that educators have teaching people on it, and not enough professional people on there talking about what's happening and what's changing, right?
Yeah.
So
Cool.
that's why I thought it would be a good quick feed for us, because this is an organization that focuses on professionals and would be always adapting to what is in-demand skills and adapting to how the industry is moving, right? Versus I'm trying to teach kindergartners about understanding computers, right?
Gotcha.
I should take that class.
Yeah.
I think our 3 points, we could lead off with the mobilization plan, because that is a thing that exists that the White House is very aware of. And that gives us a lead into our specific topic of this call, is we
Yeah.
are also planning on augmenting through things like our office hours and mentorship, and then like the digital portfolio review are concrete steps we are planning on taking to help. In addition to, we have this kind of body of material that's available, and we're going to be trying to
Okay.
get better penetration. So I think that we could easily get the 3 points to Nicole's suggestion.
Okay. All right. So lead in with a quick blurb. So since it's about 300 and it's pretty short, I guess I can take the action item of putting together like a quick blurb and circulating it in Slack.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm glad to participate. I've got some
Sure.
availability this afternoon.
Or if you
Tonight.
do, I'll let you do it. You know this thing.
Oh, I don't want to do it. I have like
okay.
18 scholarships I have to review.
Oh, okay.
I got suckered into reviewing scholarships for ISC squared. So I got to do that this afternoon, but I'm glad I can help massage. If you can just get started. I can
Yeah,
help
it's a
massage.
skeleton.
Crow,
Okay.
don't get me started about them scholarships. Please don't.
Carol is like a pit bull and a pork chop.
Well,
Pitbull on the
I mean,
pork chop.
I was great in look, we have to have an offline conversation about that. I'm confused as hell. Just
I've been doing this for a
confused.
decade, man. I'm still confused. Every year she
That I was
sings me
born
100
confused.
times.
I'm confused with it too.
No, there are a few. I mean, I'll just say there are a few scholarships that I got like on this last round. I got like 8 or 9 deep before it's a light bulb went off. And it's like, am I being punked? There was I got 8 or 9 deep, and I'm like, am I being punked? That's the nature of what I'm reading.
Yeah.
Right. I'm telling you, the
Why are
quality
you
varies
being punked?
greatly.
Huh?
Why are you being punked? Are they that bad?
Well, I mean, I'll just start and go ahead and say it. I'm looking at the scholarship. It clearly says women in cybersecurity scholarships. So when you go down into the scholarship and you start reading, and I like to do a blind on myself, right? So I don't like to see a name. I don't like to look at anything related to me knowing where this individual, the PII of this individual. I don't want to know any of that. I want to look and based on the merits of the application.
Yep.
But I start reading the application and I'm like, okay, I think I need to get some more information here. And then I'm looking at them like, now, what is the criteria for applying for this scholarship? This is not a, one, we're talking about there. Now, okay, I'm not gonna do ageism. I'm gonna try to refrain from that. But there are some individuals that should not be applying. I can't, within good conscience, give credibility. You have 3 different scores here. One is a financial need. One is, volunteering and extracurricular activities. And then one is your passion for the industry. When I read applications and I don't see 3 of these things, the only thing that you say is, I want to study this because I want to change careers. Right? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like we're talking about.
I got some similar like that.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there like,
challenges.
I emailed, but I'm talking about, this is the 3rd round now.
Yeah.
Hey, but this might be a topic for us, is how to submit applications for scholarships.
Oh, I
there
love
you
it.
go.
Well, what I'm saying is, it's okay to, like, if we got 3 rounds, and each round is supposed to be a progressive step towards finalizing who receives these scholarships. And we hit a first stage, a second stage, now I'm in a 3rd round. And in that 3rd round, I'm coming across an application that I'm reading, and I'm like, what the?
They should be highly qualified. I agree.
I emailed Carol right away. I said, Carol, are these legitimate? So like I'm almost thinking, this is the way I took it, was, I wonder if they're tossing some of these in to see if we're really actually sitting here reading them. And like, if we're not just throwing random scores in there just to get them done, if we're actually reading them. I'm reading those. I got like 8 or 9 in on this last round. I'm like, I don't want to read any more of these. What am I looking at here? You know what I mean? It's like, out of the 8 or 9, I'm talking about a good 7 of them. I'm like, dude, hell no.
despite the frustration, it is very worthwhile work. I agree there. They could do a little bit better on the ingestion process. And I agree that last round people, they should be highly qualified. You should understand how that individual got to this stage, and they should
I'll
all
just
have very clear. I want to, I usually have a very clear drive of why they want to go to this career path. They should have things to illustrate that, and again, the financial need.
I'll give you two. Okay, I'm not. I'll try to be as nondescript as possible here, but descript. Give you two. They're clearly like older. They both have children out of the house. They both have done professions that they're now damn near retiring from. They're not. I mean, look, everyone wants to get into cyber. I got it. But I don't know. They're saying they have a fine. One person actually said, "This will take the stress off of me having to, you know, pay my bills and take care of my children and do all and do all this and all that, and not have to worry about funding the education for my second half." That they wrote this in
No,
the application.
And that is, I think, a very different set of circumstances than someone that has legitimate hardship or is at a different stage in their life. Someone that's just. I have a lot of debates around.
I mean, we had another one that was a whole cop. That's like a 20 years police officer who is retiring from the police force who wants to do cyber. I'm like, you got a whole pension to work off a player. What do you?
And that's very different than someone that's coming up, is like a single mom or someone that's come up through hardship. Yeah, I completely agree.
You can read an application and determine financial need, passion for the industry. I can't determine passion because you want your second act to be something that you think is cool to do. And then you had 20 years as a and then when they ask you what your curricular activities are, extracurricular, what have you done that outside to say, hey, this would be cool to me? Nothing. And literally in the application, well, because I've spent the last 20 years doing this, I didn't really focus on this or that. This is something I feel like would be great to do now as a second half. And like, come on, man. I mean, what? Meanwhile, you got high school kids talking about, I competed in hackathons with Stanford. You got high school kids talking, high school kids doing. I mean, I would much rather give it to a high school kid who, talking about extracurriculars, they weren't hanging out with their friends. They were sitting here building hack boxes. They were sitting there building virtual machines. They were sitting there, you know what I mean? Like they were doing things, and they took AP courses in this or AP courses in that, and you had see their recommendation letters. I care about that. What am I like? I'm telling you, this last round, it's only in this last round, by the way. That's what I'm talking about. It's only in this last round, not the two previous ones.
Yeah, and it's interesting. You'll see, like, some people, like, there's a young lady that started her own. They didn't have a WESIS or like Women in Engineering chapter at her school, so she helped found that. And I thought that individual has a lot of passion. They're looking to try to improve the trade.
That's passion. That's
Yeah, but to Yesenia's point, that is actually a good thing. Like, what is it that, even if it's like either an office hours, like, how do you build out your digital portfolio? What do you look for in like scholarships? What are the sort of the markers that I think that might be like an interesting topic.
Yeah, I think that'd be a great thing for the office hours to try to help people, because having those elements really helps distinguish you from the crowd. The fact that, hey, I play with a bunch of Raspberry Pis and I do my own kind of red team. I participate in like the hackathons and capture the flag stuff. That's important.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
as I'm reading some of these like mentorship applications too, they're very vague. It's like, I
Yeah.
would like a career in cybersecurity because it looks cool. And I'm like I gotta compare you towards hundreds of people. Like this doesn't give me anything.
yeah.
I,
Um,
I
for
think that's
folks
good
that
advice we
reach,
could provide people that show up to our
I
office
think so.
hours.
I think that's
yeah,
really good. It's really good.
How do you distinguish yourself?
Yeah, how do you distinguish yourself? So I
Yeah.
will circulate, this is gonna, even though it's like a rant on scholarships, I think is actually pretty useful.
Gave us a new topic.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So I will put up the blurb for the White House thing later on today, and Nicole said she's gonna look at it, and Crow is also, so it'll just be like a skeleton that we can potentially hopefully get wrapped up and send it out through email, and then get the response back. Now, when we send these out to say the White House and all, what email, do we just like send it from our own individual email addresses, or how does that work? Because they're gonna respond. I've never had to do this one before.
I have never directly done it. I've always been affiliated with someone else that clicked the button.
Smart.
I see your point. Probably it would look better if someone with a Linux Foundation and email sent
Yeah.
it.
So would David?
Oh!
Oh, Yesenia. Oh, there you go. I got you.
Nice.
She went off screen. Okay.
Me, it would look kind of legit.
I think
If
so.
you saying, "Oh, I represent Linux and coming from a non-Linux organization."
Yeah,
Domain.
it'd probably, I like that point. It'd probably have to be from somebody that runs OpenSSF, but not me.
You can always put the little cheat tag in there, sent on behalf of DEI Chair Christine Abernathy. That up at the top and the bottom, and then stick her message
Name
in there.
drop.
Good call. Cheat tag. All right, are you willing to do it, Yesenia?
Yeah, I'm just not in a position to talk to politicians.
Yeah, let's
You're not
massage
talking
the
to the
text.
politician.
Yeah.
You're talking to the appointee sat on the committee. You're good. You're good. They
So
do
what
it in
you say,
government
Crow?
all the time. Trust me.
Yeah. Crow, what were you gonna say?
No, again, I think this will be a great opportunity for us. Again, it aligns with our values and our goals, and helps kind of drive our mission. And ideally, it again captures more collaborators or people that would benefit from the work you guys are spearheading.
Okay. Sounds good.
Throw
Got a
Jay's
couple-
name in there too.
It would definitely.
Dr. J.
Dr.
That's right. Of Microsoft.
I don't even know what you guys are getting ready to stick my name into, man. But I'll trust that. I'll trust that it's something that's worthwhile for me. Or I can make a fool out of myself doing it. Please, by all means, if I can make a fool out of myself, let me do that. Let me do that.
All right.
All right.
Lead with Jay's name first before Christine. That's what I heard.
That's what I interpretation.
Awesome.
All right. So we're at the end of our time. Thank you again.
Great
And,
chat. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Take care. Have a
Thanks,
good rest
everyone.
of the day. Bye.